Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage Jewelry. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit, my intuition, and tarot to communicate energies to you, the viewer. Today's reading will be taking a look at two options, this or that, and the outcome of either option. Okay, so ask your question or have your question in mind in regards to you can either do this or that. Should you do this or that? Should you go this way or that way? Should you stay or leave? Should you call or not call? Should you take the job or not? And it will take a look at, we'll take a look at both options and the outcome. All right, so we have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile 1, 2, or 3. Now feel free to pause the video and select whichever pile you're intuitively drawn to. And you can ask multiple questions here. So if you want to use all 3 piles for 3 separate areas, you can do that as well. And I will see you at your pick. You can select from your pick. The timestamp will be in the description box and in the pinned comment below, and I will see you there. Hello, my beautiful. Pile number 1, if you pick this white lotus flower, pile number 1, then this will be your reading. Now, this is the main card that you selected. So we'll take a look at this to get a general idea of maybe the topic or what you're looking at here. And hopefully this helps you identify whether this is your pile or not. And then we'll take a look at whether you choose this or whether you choose that. Okay, so first things first, just identify which pile is this option for you and which option is that. So for example, should I stay or should I go? And if you stay, here's kind of the outcome and suggestion as far as what will happen if you stay. And then the right hand side will be what will happen and the outcome, the journey, the path if you were to go. Okay, so that's just an example. You can ask anything at all and it will show you what it's about, but I want to get the energy right. So if this card doesn't resonate at all, then you might want to select another pile. Okay, so let's take a look at pile number 1 for overall energy. All right, so we have the 3 of Pentacles. So 3 of Pentacles talks about working with others, okay? Could be working with another person specifically, could be working with a team of people, could be collaborating on a project, could be freelance, being asked to engage one's efforts or energy into a project, and could be just cooperating and collaborating with other people. Okay, so this can also talk about material wealth, and it can talk about something that is built together with another to create something bigger than yourself or the other individual. Okay, so 3 of Pentacles could talk about work. And yeah, so if this is kind of more or less the area in which you're asking about, okay, then we can take a look at this or that. Now, let's pull some tarot and take a look. So, you should definitely know which side this is and which option that is. So, for example, should you collaborate on a project with this person? This is yes, this is no. Or should you continue investing and working together with this person? Yes or no. Is this project worth your time and effort? Yes or no or yes. However you want to do the this or that is up to you, but just know which one is your this route and which one's your that route, and then we'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message here for beautiful pile number 1. Spirit, pile number 1 wants to know their options and what will happen if they choose option this. What will happen? What is the outcome? What can they expect going with this and their option? Clear and concise. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, pile number 1, for allowing me to tap into your beautiful energy. I'm so blessed, so grateful. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today in this reading. All right, so we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. We have the Sun upright. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And we have Judgment. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. And we have the Eight of Swords. All right, now let's take a look at that. Okay, so your second option here. Spirit, if they were to choose that, what is the outcome? What could they expect on their journey if they were to choose that? We have the Lovers. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Magician in reverse. We have the Strength card. We have the Page of Wands. And we also have the Page of Pentacles. Okay. Now, this or that. Let's take a look at what Spirit is suggesting. Now, I'm not leaning towards one side or another. I will just lay out the facts of what's here, and you guys can certainly make your decision based on what we're seeing here. But I do see, if you go with this option over here on the left-hand side, there is an understanding that you might not have to be as confrontational as maybe you were expecting to be, okay? And I feel like there is a realization once you select this option, you come into an awareness and an understanding that you were... there's an understanding that you were kind of anticipating something different than what it was that you had expected. And I feel like you could potentially be limiting yourself from your full potential when it comes to independently standing on your own and being independent, confident, and stable. And I feel like it's not the security that you had thought that it would be, okay? And I feel like you quickly come into this realization, okay, that this is something different than what you had expected. And then you might feel as though you are possibly holding yourself back in some sort of way by choosing this option and limiting yourself from a full potential here, okay, with this option. We'll also be taking a look at some advice or some hang-ups or some more in regards to this, but this is the overall gist of what I'm feeling here. Now, if you were to go with that, I feel like this is definitely probably more of a dedication here. It's probably going to take more of your energy and your effort. And I feel like you're going to... I think you're going to find a lot of satisfaction, but I think you're also going to find yourself kind of I think you're going to find yourself getting more than what it was that you anticipated as far as enjoyment, okay? But I feel like it is ongoing, and I feel like you're uncovering more as you continue to take this path. And I feel like you probably just cracked open the surface of what's in store for you here. There's a lot more, and I feel like you're needing to really stay dedicated and committed. And I feel like you do want to stay dedicated and committed, and you're very engaged here, okay? But I feel like if you decide you don't want to commit anymore or stay dedicated because it's taking too long, or what have you, then I feel like you might not be as successful as you think in this area. Okay, so it will require a lot of commitment and time. I think more than what you're expecting here. And you'll have to use your self-control, your willpower, your desire to engage with this, to make this choice. And I feel like every day you're kind of having to choose this in order for this to be successful and maintain committed to the outcome of this. Okay, whereas I feel this one is more fleeting and not exactly what you had expected. All the joy that you had expected it would be. Okay, even though we see the sun here, I feel like there's a realization. And I do feel like maybe I'm trying to see the positives and the negatives. I see the positive here as in maybe you're not needing to invest as much time. And I feel like this is more maintaining status quo, but I feel like there's no development or growth. Whereas here, I feel like there's a level of growth. I feel like there's also a level of dedication and commitment that you're going to have to see to. And I feel like there might be a little bit of a challenge or struggle in staying committed and persistent. But I do feel like the outcome for this one will be something much more grand, much more spectacular than you could possibly imagine going this route here. Okay, and I feel like you probably are only scratching the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more here for you to learn and realize. And I feel like you probably go into this thinking you know more than you possibly do, whereas this one you might feel like you're going to expect more than what you possibly get out of that situation. Okay, so now let's take a look at either some advice or some challenges, whatever comes out. We'll pull some oracles. So we have the Death card here. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. And Spirit, one of these as well. And we have a Treasure of the Soul. And one of these as well. We have Breaking the Chain of Repeating Cycles. Okay, and now we'll pull some for this side, or I guess that side. And then we'll compare the two as far as any sort of advice or any sort of challenges that you might oversee. So I have Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. And one of these as well, Spirit, clear and concise for beautiful pile number 1 regarding their choice here. We have Technologies of Love, and one of these oracle cards as well for that option. Conquering Social Anxiety. All right, so I'm still feeling like these cards are kind of highlighting what we were seeing. This is kind of the safe route, okay? So Death, I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. I feel like there's something here that is tired and something here that is safe that I feel like eventually you're going to have to move out of anyway. So if you do choose this option, you're potentially going to repeat a cycle here, okay? And potentially be in another situation in which you're going to have to make a decision similar to this. Maybe not this exact opportunity, but another opportunity that will eventually present itself, because I feel like this opportunity is Spirit pushing you outside of your comfort zone, okay? A Treasure of the Soul. I feel like you're being gifted with an opportunity from Spirit to change or shift things from what you currently are doing here in order to work with another in a different way, in a different capacity, in order to get different results than you have been coming up with for yourself, okay? And there is a calling or a need for you to put an end to a cycle here that I feel is continuously keeping you in a loop, or at least your comfort zone, and it's not allowing you to grow. Now, the benefits of this is that you know what to expect, and maybe There's no new anxiety. I feel the anxiety that you feel, in this option is a familiar anxiety, but it keeps you in your Eight of Swords, which is limiting and restricting you, okay, from moving forward. It is telling yourself to play safe and that you are unable to break free and choose a different option for yourself that will help you grow. In this option, I feel like this really pushes you with the conquering social anxiety, because we were talking about working with another, working with people, having to be more open potentially than you've been in the past, using your self-control, your willpower, knowing how to summon some courage. Here it requires you to be honest, not only with yourself as far as your limitations and your capabilities, but learning to trust others when they need to step up, okay? And this technologies of love, I feel like, well, technologies talks about like advancement, and could be computers or advanced technology, but here we have of love. So I feel like this is an advancement in putting yourself in an area that feels very foreign to you and advanced, and pushes you to grow, pushes you to be honest with yourself. And I feel like the benefits here definitely outweigh the risk, okay? We can pull some tarot here as to what it is that you can expect for an outcome, because here the outcome, I don't really need to pull tarot. However, we will, just to keep it balanced and equal. I feel like the outcome here is going to be the same old. I won't be surprised if we see the World coming out kind of as a cycle, or the Wheel of Fortune, something like that. Now, I do feel like there is something about this that gifts you with not only whatever it is that the outcome of that situation would be, but it also enables you to equip yourself with a tool that I don't think you were able to in the past, to make a decision going forward in other areas of your life, or this or that type of an option presents itself. It enables you and equips you to be more prepared and able to deal with that type of a situation than you have been in the past. So I think it's not necessarily the outcome of that situation specifically that's the reward so much, even though I do feel like there is a reward here. I feel like it is more the ability for you to step outside of your comfort zone and adapt some sort of technology ability for you to be able to recognize a piece of yourself that you're able to manage differently than you have in the past, rather than keeping it safe. But we will ask spirits for a clear and concise message as far as what can beautiful pile number one expect if they were to choose this option. What can they expect to see if they were to go with this? What would they expect to see? And if they were to go with that, oh, did I crisscross the cards? No. I was supposed to use different cards for each of the thises and the that's, but all right, we'll keep it consistent. If pile number two was to choose that option, what would their outcome be? What could they expect to see in that outcome? All right, so if you were to choose this, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles upright, and we have the Five of Swords. Okay, now if you were to choose that, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Chariot, and we also have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so that side, the results seem to be a lot more favorable, but again, I'm not gonna pick one side for you. I'm just gonna tell you exactly what you can expect to see here. With the Knight of Wands in reverse, this is somebody not really going after what it is that they want, kind of shying away from going after dreams or their passions or their desires, and continuously working in the safe way. Eight of Pentacles is being dedicated and persistent, and consistently repeating maybe same type of work environment, a safety, dedication, a stability. And I feel like this causes, well, I mean, look at this card. It's like a challenge, okay, because it feels like a no-win situation. It's like you can continue to do the same thing here, but knowing that there is an escape of your dreams or not chasing a desire, and a continuous focus on an area that might eventually wear itself out. And I feel like this is indicating you challenging yourself in a no-win type situation, because all that remains is what it is that you're kind of focused on here. That tends to be more of a same old type environment and outcome. This energy over here feels more like, with this Nine of Pentacles, this is somebody able to build on themselves successfully so that they can stand independently, free, but solid and strong, and depend on themselves to move forward here. With the Chariot and the Strength both talk about willpower, being able to balance oneself, use willpower and self-control in order to get through a situation that might appear to be challenging, in order for one to reap the rewards. Okay, here with the Six of Pentacles, this is receiving an area of energy. So it could be monetary gain. It could certainly be financial gain. It could be feeding an area of your life that maybe you haven't been feeding before, but it's really moving towards this type of an energy, and reaping the rewards that allow you to become more independent and more of a well-rounded type individual, so you're successful in your endeavors. Okay, so this is what I see with that option. And yeah, if you were drawn to another pile, you can certainly go check that out. And I hope this kind of helped you guys with your decision. I will see you guys soon. Bye. Hello, my spectacular pile number 2. If you picked this beautiful yellow lotus flower, pile number 2, this is your beautiful reading. Now we're going to get into, actually I can leave that right there so you can focus on that. We're going to take a look at this card, and this card is kind of the tone or the flavor in regards to your decision here. Okay, so if this isn't resonating with you, then chances are this might not be your pile, but we're going to be taking a look at this option or that option. So all you need to do is identify what your question is in regards to this option, and then what your question is in regards to that. So for example, should I stay in the job I'm in? If this is to stay, yes, and this is to go, that would be no, that. Okay, whatever, should I call this person? This is this, and this is that. So just know which this is, what your question is for this, and what your question is for that, or your route, as far as if you were to go this route or that route. And then once you have that established, so feel free to pause, let's take a look at what this card is saying as far as the undertone or flavor of this type of a reading. And then we'll take a look at the outcome, or what can result of you going with this, and then what can or the outcome or the result of what will happen if you go with that. Okay, so we have Ace of Cups. Wow. Okay, so Cups talks about emotions, and the Ace of Cups specifically is an emotional new beginning. Now this could certainly be in investing in an area of ourself that we feel very deeply about on an emotional level. And an Ace of Cups talks about self-fulfillment, self-gratification, self-love, and self-transformation. This could potentially be going after what one wants for oneself. Could be another person, could be a job, could be chasing something that brings heart fulfillment here. I do see a lot of houses here, or like a town. So maybe it is a desire to go live somewhere that one desires, move somewhere that one desires. Yeah, I feel like this is a huge transformation in your life. Okay, this is changing things up, completely different than maybe what you're used to, and having an emotional new beginning. Okay, so If this sounds like your option or the undertone of your options, then we'll take a look at this and then that. And this time we're going to use 2 different decks because pile number 1, I use the same deck for some reason, but I'm not ready, Spirit. We're going to ask Spirit, if pile number 2 was to go with this option, what could they expect to see? What could be their journey? What is the outcome? If they were to go with this option, what could they expect here with this option? Best and worst case scenario, and this option, what would result? Okay, so we have the 2 of Cups. Wow. Talk about emotional fulfillment. We have the 6 of Swords. Oh, we do have a card here that is flipped, or at least I thought it was. There it is. Yes, 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Let's keep going. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. We have the Emperor in reverse. And we also have the Wheel. Okay, interesting. Now let's take a look at, if you were to go with that option, what can you expect? Spirit, clear and concise for beautiful pile number 2. If they were to go with that option, what could they expect? What could be the outcome? What would their journey be like? Thank you so much. And thank you so much, beautiful pile number 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy. So we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. We have the 10 of Swords. It is in reverse. We have the Hierophant in reverse. We have the 6 of Wands upright. We have the 8 of Cups in reverse. Interesting. 8 of Cups in reverse in both sides here. And I will pull both of these. We have the 2 of Cups here. Now this 2 of Cups is in reverse. Okay. And the Knight of Cups is also in reverse here. It's very similar. Very similar as far as cards, but the feeling is a little bit different here. Okay, let's start. If you were to go with this option. So I feel like there is a situation that might start off as fairly balanced, but I feel like in the long run, the results will kind of potentially put you in the same situation you're in right now. Okay, so I think there'd be an experience here, but I feel like it'd be a short-lived experience. And I feel like you potentially become a little bit irritated. And I feel like there is a side to the situation that isn't as forthcoming or as easy to work with as maybe you would need it to be, that I feel like you eventually just don't even want to invest any more mental exertion in this arena. But I feel like you're left with this kind of conflicting feeling where you'll have to remove yourself, because mentally I feel like you might be really exhausted in dealing with very tough people in this situation. Maybe someone who's a little bit immature, maybe somebody who could be people who aren't quite nice. Okay, might be a little bit of a bully, might be a little bit in their ego, might be a little bit cold. I feel like you potentially become a little bit more guarded, and I feel like emotionally you'll have a piece of this experience that might be hard for you to let go of, but I feel like eventually you'll still have to move away and engage in areas that you potentially feel is more desirable for you. But it will be an experience that you have that maybe you'll be glad that you, well, glad. I think you'll definitely learn something from, about yourself. But I feel like you are left with maybe an emotional hang up of sorts over here. Okay. Now, if you were to choose this side over here, I feel like you won't be able to fully express love or desire or release a bit of your, not even a bit. I feel like you're held back in keeping yourself kind of contained when it comes to emotions and what you desire. And I feel like here you're going to be mentally conflicted in trying to understand what it would have been like to have experienced this scenario. And I feel like not only will you be now mentally perturbed, I feel like emotionally you're going to take a heavier toll here in trying to understand what this would have, this experience would have been like. I feel like there is a part of choosing that you, yeah, I feel like instead of moving forward and stepping anew in that type of an option, I feel like when you step forward in that, you're still going to be mentally and emotionally hung up with this. It's almost like, yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like this energy almost sucks worse, to be honest, because I feel like this is you saying, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and what would have happened, and you can't really focus on that because you're engaged with this. Although you feel like maybe you've freed yourself from a situation, okay, that maybe you were feeling like you didn't have any control, so it'd be like a short victory over a temporary situation, or yeah, but then overall I feel like it'd be a very heavy mental and emotional toll, and almost a foolish obsession with trying to understand what it would have felt like to completely engage in this and have failed. I think would have been better than having to play it safe and wonder what this would have looked like if you were to go with that. Okay, so short victory, but overall I feel like a very heavy burden here with the Ten of Swords. There's I need to accept an ending mentally, emotionally, with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups in reverse. It's an inability to allow oneself to emotionally feel, and the Two of Cups in reverse. It's not going after a partnership or a give and take, whereas here I feel like you get to experience a partnership here, but I feel like you move away from mental conflict that you were feeling when you came into the situation. But I feel like it is a tough situation, because the individuals involved make you sort of come out in a sort of way that I don't think you are used to or that you enjoy all that much. Okay, and I feel like a piece of your emotional, like I said, emotional self kind of gets hung up in this situation. I certainly feel like Spirit is saying this will continue to represent itself or resurface until you experience this. Okay, and yeah, I feel like that option over here is more you looking back on this option. Okay, so let's take a look at some advice or some challenges that might come up with the oracle cards here. Spirit, if pile number 2 is to choose this option, what can they expect to see? Some guidance and some challenges. It says practicing daily spirituality. Okay, and let's pull one of these for this option here. We have recovery into grace. Okay, and then one of these. Thank you, Spirit. Clear and concise guidance, message, challenges here in this option for beautiful pile number 2. We have empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. Okay, now let's take a look at that. If you were to go with that option, we have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And one of these. So we have your heart is a healer. All right, with the number 22. And then let's pull one of these. And we have celebrating a world's diversity. Okay. So I do feel like this worry card does definitely talk about you looking back on a situation in which you were probably thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda, which is what would have happened had I followed this opportunity. Your heart is a healer. I feel like this card is talking about a need for you to experience where your heart is asking for and will be asking for you to experience something that allows your heart to heal. With your heart is a healer, I feel like closing yourself off, because I feel like this situation is closing yourself off from an opportunity to do heart healing, will put you in a state of worry, okay, until maybe another situation represents itself where you can heal your heart. And celebrating a world's diversity, I feel like this benefit of going this way is you'll open yourself to another opportunity. I believe it will be similar, but it's another opportunity altogether with the world's diversity. And I feel like you can potentially get another chance to see if you could change things. Maybe now whatever you learned here, you can adapt in this situation as far as what you didn't completely follow through there. Now you're allowed to see a little bit differently here. I feel like you might be better equipped to deal with the situation because of your ability to navigate and see things a little differently here. Okay, now with this side here, practicing daily spirituality, I feel like this side definitely pushes you. And I feel like with this Queen of Swords in reverse and this Emperor in reverse, I feel like it is pushing you to see beyond maybe situations and circumstances where people might be challenging, or circumstances might be very challenging or stubborn or stuck in ego or cold or non-moving. And I feel like this allows you to really heal yourself, recognizing that you can't control other people. You're still able to put yourself in a situation where you can love, receive love. You can move away from any sort of mental strife where you felt like maybe in past situations that there was a responsibility of yours to change situations, or that certain things were on you. I feel like the recovery into grace is you learning a lesson, okay, a karmic lesson, a situation here that fully fills itself, and it allows you to heal your heart in an area that your heart is calling to be healed. Whereas this one, I feel like it's still outstanding. This one, I feel like, look how much more vibrant this heart is compared to that heart. Okay, I feel like this heart experiences a situation that allows it to heal. And I feel like with this empathy, I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. I feel like your perspective kind of changes here in regards to when other people might not be showing up, when other people might be in their ego or cold or whatever, how it is that you're supposed to navigate and be in your true authenticity. Okay, allow yourself to heal and still be in a situation, but also set very healthy boundaries when it comes to removing yourself from situations that aren't mentally pleasing. Okay, but I do feel like it does take an emotional toll here on you, because I feel like it is much needed in order for you to recover your heart space, okay, with a heavy emphasis on empathy. All right, so let's take a look, because I think I did this with beautiful pile number 1, what you can expect with this outcome over here. Okay, so what can beautiful pile number 2 expect with this beautiful outcome if they were to choose this? What is the benefit, the outcome that they can fully expect here if they were to go with this option. We'll pull 3 cards. And we have the Page of Cups. It is in reverse. And we have the 2 of Swords in reverse. We have the King of Swords. We have the 10 of Swords and the 9 of Cups. Okay, so that's a clear message here. But before I get into that message, we're going to pull what the results would be over here if you were to go with that. So if you're going with that option, what is the outcome? Ooh, we got lots. Okay, so the one that revealed itself was the Emperor. Okay. And we have the 2 of Pentacles. We have the Moon in reverse. We have the 3 of Cups. We have the Hangman, and it is in reverse. We have the 7 of Cups in reverse. And we also have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, so let's get into this one. That one has a lot of cards. Yeah, I feel like this one is more clear-cut and potentially advancing you as far as whatever soul lessons, heart lessons, and healing lessons to bring an outcome of your wishes coming true of what it is you absolutely desire. Although I do feel like there is an end to a situation here that frees you and liberates you into getting what it is that you want, okay? I feel like there is an opportunity here for you to identify where maybe in past situations you've been not as, yeah, these 2 in reverse. I feel like there is an opportunity for you to really decide in an area. Page of Cups talks about that emotional new beginning again and communicating. Okay, this is like the first stirrings of love, communicating an impossibility here, looking to something that you would desire, and then making the choice, because the 2 of Swords in reverse is choosing an option rather than staying idle. Okay, I feel like by doing this, you then become very clear and you have an understanding, a deep understanding of what it is that you absolutely mentally need in order to have fulfillment, for you to put an end to something that's been repeating in your life or in your heart, for you to have a full emotional fulfillment. This is like liberation, freedom, getting one's wish, okay, walking into freedom, releasing yourself from some sort of confinement, okay? But I feel like you have to make that choice, because I feel like if you don't, you're kind of then deciding to go with that. And this is somebody who's kind of imprisoned, whereas this, on the other side of this realization, right, is somebody who's free, who can see the horizon. And now there's much more opportunity and potential for you. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean this situation will completely come to an end, but I feel like whatever heart issues and lessons are to be learned here, I feel like you get to free yourself from in order to get what it is that you absolutely want. So you get exactly what it is that you want for yourself, and you get to experience what it is that you want for yourself based on choosing this decision. Now, if you were to go with that decision, I feel like you will feel empowered. Okay, remember we talked about this short victory, right? This is feeling like you've overcome something. The 6 of Wands talks about ego, same with the Emperor. I feel like there's an empowerment here, okay? But then there becomes this juggling or imbalance here where the Moon in reverse talks about suppressed emotions. It can also talk about maybe somebody being completely confused in an area when it comes to their emotions. And I feel like that option will make you take a look at this situation with the 5 of Cups as something that maybe you regret not taking, or feeling some sort of sadness or looking back in sadness. And I feel like you will eventually come to the conclusion that you will, I feel like you're coming to the conclusion that you will have an opportunity here, but I feel like your opportunity here will be not exactly what it is that you desire. Okay, Queen of Wands talks about something that we desire. It's passionate. It's bringing in what it is that we want. The 7 of Cups is having a lot of options. And I feel like with these 2 in reverse, it's almost like a settling. Yeah, I feel like there's a settling here, okay, of whatever comes next. and having to, I mean, you could do whatever here, but I feel like there's the having to resort to next best thing, or yeah, experience something here that's not quite as good, not quite as attractive. And I feel like when it does come, you'll feel like you'll have to take that option because you'll feel limited in your options. And there'll be like an understanding here with the Hangman in reverse that you're kind of almost, you almost feel stuck, like you have to take this option. Okay, that's your understanding here in order for you to resolve whatever pent up emotions that you've suppressed, and you feel this imbalance or this need to sort out a part of you, and maybe even sort out what happened here in order for you to feel balanced. Because I feel like this will throw this, letting this go will throw you completely for a loop where you try to find balance, and you'll feel empowered for a bit. And then you start to, yeah, start feeling these feelings of regret and maybe suppressed emotions and feel like your options are limited. And you'll start to get very narrow perspective and decide that you're going to have to take whatever option kind of comes in here in order for you to learn this lesson. So I feel like you eventually here, although short-lived success, I feel like you eventually understand and come to the realization that you're going to have to experience whatever this is, but now you're in a different situation. So now you're very limited to what presents itself here for you. Maybe, yeah, a situation that's not as optimal, something that is not allowing you as much flexibility as this one did. So I feel like this is more ideal in learning whatever lessons here. But I feel like this is more than just learning a lesson and then being done. I feel like the liberation here and getting one's wish, I feel like there is more here to be experienced for yourself. Whereas this, I feel like it kind of resets and sets you back on the same path, but then another situation where you have to kind of make the same decision, and maybe you don't have as much opportunity as you did initially with this and that option. I think then you're kind of more forced to go with an option that might not be as ideal here with this Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, and I think you'll have some regret here. Yeah, so this is what I see here for you guys. Beautiful pile number 2. I hope this gave you some perspective. Leave a comment, leave a like if you're drawn to another pile. Visit me there. If not, I will see you soon. Bye. Hello, my splendid pile number 3. If you pick this beautiful lotus flower, pile number 3, then this is your reading. Now, we will be taking a look at the undertone or the flavor of this reading so that you know that this is your pile. Okay, now we will be looking at option this or option that. So what you'll need to do first before we flip this card over is get clear on what this option is and what that option is. So for example, if you're trying to decide between whether you should stay or go, this would be you staying, this or that would mean you going, okay? Or should you call whatever XYZ or for that employment, this would be you calling, that would be you not calling. So there's an outcome here if you were to go with this, and an outcome if you were to go with that. Okay, so we'll look at kind of the outcome, the journey, the benefits, maybe the downside to going with this, and then the journey, the outcome, and the downside as to going with that. But before we start looking at this and that, okay, so decide which one's this and which one's that. We're going to take a look at the flavor or the gist of what this reading's about so that you know whether this is indeed a pile for you or not. Okay, so you selected the card of 9 of Cups. Okay, so 9 of Cups talks about a wish come true, emotional fulfillment. So there's a situation here which you feel at its peak, most likely completely emotionally fulfilled. Okay, it's something that brings you great passion and joy. And it does revolve around emotions because Cups talks about emotions and love and creativity. And I feel like This situation almost involves something that is like a wish come true, or something almost seeming too good to be true. Something that is what you absolutely would desire, but you're not quite sure. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this involves you. I'm not quite sure if it involves anybody else at this point, or you're not sure maybe if you should involve somebody else, or if you should just fulfill your own contentment for yourself and go after your own happiness. Or maybe you're looking at whether you should open up to something different than just fulfilling yourself and looking at your own enjoyment. Okay, if that sounds like something that you are looking at here with the this and that option, then we'll take a look at the this and that and see if you were to choose this option, what can you expect here. I am not going to read these, although we did see the Three of Swords. If that wants to come out again, it will, but we'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 3 in regards to this option. If they were to go with this option, what could they expect? What would be their journey? What would kind of be the outcome of them going with this option? Thank you so much, Spirit. And thank you so much, beautiful pile number 3, for allowing me to tap into your beautiful energy and taking a look at this option for you. All right, so let's shuffle these. Bridge shuffle. So I am tempted to ring the bell here to clear the energy from the last 2 piles. So just mute your volume. Okay, so Spirit, clear and concise for beautiful pile number 3. If they were to go with this option, what would be their learnings, their lesson, their journey? What can they expect? We have the Tower. We have Justice in reverse. We have the Page of Pentacles. Let's keep going. We have the Magician in reverse. We have the Hermit in reverse. And we have the Chariot. I'm going to sneeze. Just give me a second. Woo, all right. That had some forward movement. Okay, now let's take a look at if you were to choose that option. What would be the outcome, the journey, the results of choosing that option? Okay, so we have the Sun in reverse. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. And we have the Four of Wands in reverse. And we have the Ten of Swords in upright position. Okay. So I don't favor one side over another. I will just tell you what is going on here, although the energy on this side feels a little more defeated than this side here, but I feel like there is challenges with both. Okay, so with this side, I feel like there is an unexpected turn here that if you were to go with this side, I don't think it's exactly as you had expected. And I feel like maybe you don't quite, like there's a lot to learn here. And I feel like you're completely thrown into a situation where you're going to have to figure things out. And things are a little bit different than how you had expected. And I feel like maybe you're put in a situation where you have to fend for yourself and really aggressively kind of work towards what it is that you want. Because I feel like whatever is unexpected about choosing this option is going to turn this into something that you weren't really completely expecting. Okay, although could potentially be rewarding. It does open up a potential for an opportunity. I do feel like going with this is a big flurry of not what you expected, something that you're more focused on kind of how to balance this situation to kind of maybe get yourself out of it. Okay. The Magician talks about somebody who's able to manifest with this in reverse. It's like somebody who might be a little bit manipulative, and I feel like it's somebody maybe trying to fend for themselves. And the Chariot talks about, you know, learning to control oneself and use willpower and balance the dark and light shadows of themselves in order to navigate through. I feel like there's a novice type opportunity here. Once you experience this, for you to kind of plant the seed for your future so that you're able to move forward. But I feel like this situation puts you kind of in a shitstorm of trying to figure out how to get things back into balance with Justice in reverse. This is like an imbalance, and then you having to figure out how to bring things back into balance. Okay. And I don't feel like you have a lot of time to react. I feel like it's something that kind of just happens. Then you just got to kind of deal with it, and then all shit hits the fan, and you have to kind of do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to figure your way out of this situation, okay? This situation, I feel like there is a delayed understanding here with the Sun, or a delayed contentment in choosing this option, okay? I feel like there is a sense of stability that could have been had that doesn't feel as stable here with this King of Pentacles and this Four of Wands in reverse. This is like not being completely committed or solid or stable and building a stability. And the Seven of Swords in reverse, this is like, I mean, Seven of Swords talks about the Thief card, somebody deceitful, but within reverse, it's almost like an apology. So I feel like there is a need for recognizing and apologizing and accepting a situation that might have not have been clear, but I feel like there's a delayed understanding here, but also comes with a delayed contentment, because there needs to be a full acceptance of deceitful, maybe self-sabotage or self-sacrifice or self-behaviors that maybe need to change in such a way, or at least there's a realization, okay, that the stability potentially that you had was not quite what it appeared to be. It's not as stable, okay? And I feel like there is a need here with this Ace of Pentacles to start a new a new beginning in grounding something and planting a seed to bring something forward. But I feel like this in reverse and this in the Ten of Swords, this is putting an ending to something, okay? And this is putting an end to a beginning. This is like not even, I feel like this isn't even trying. Yeah, I feel like this isn't trying. This is coming to a realization that something wasn't right. Something needs to be fixed. Something isn't quite as solid and balanced and structured or committed or solid. And instead of planting a seed, there is like an ending. And this ending is quite painful here with the Ten of Swords. This is an end, but it could very well be the end of a way of being that wasn't providing stability and security with delayed contentment. But I feel like with this Pentacles in reverse, there's like blocked opportunity here. There's blocked opportunity for some reason. Okay, so we're going to take a look at let's take a look at maybe challenges and advice, and then we'll take a look at outcomes. Okay, so what is the challenge or advice here that pile number 3 can experience by choosing this option? What can they experience here with this option? We have creating personal space. Okay. And we have We have soul love. And we have honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Okay. And now let's take a look at that pile and see some advice or what you can expect here as far as challenges. Advice if you were to go with that option. Thank you, spirits. All right, so we have researching the mystical world and honor thy worth and indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Okay, so I feel like this one you kind of already almost are decided on is what I feel. But what I feel is happening here is that you're relying on yourself in an area that I feel like has a result that you're not expecting. And I feel like what you're trying to gain here, or whatever the option is here, or the decision, I feel like is for you to gain a certain outcome for yourself. And I feel like this, whatever option this is, your outcome is not actually going to get you what it was that you've wanted. And I feel like you're going to come to a point where you're going to recognize that your decision was playing it safe or going with something that you thought you would have expected here or could have expected. But I feel like what you ended up getting was something that didn't bring balance. It required you to manipulate a situation and drive through a situation that you had to sort out in such a way that I feel like with this soul love and this number 33, I feel like there is still a need for you to answer this question with your soul love. I feel like you're potentially going through the situation to find some sort of desire, some sort of contentment here with this 9 of Cups that brings you absolute happiness and joy. And I don't think that this is it, but I feel like you become aware and maybe more honest with your circumstances, because I think you're going to be left with a situation where now you can be holding the seed and be looking for an opportunity of, okay, what does it actually mean to find my soul love and how can I go after it? And now you're ready because you've recognized that this did not bring about what it was that you had thought initially. I think that completely, resulted in something different. So it puts you in a position that you kind of are in now, except now with lessons learned. So I think you would no longer be tempted to choose this option. Okay, you're more prepared, you're more geared, you understand now what is your soul love, what you absolutely want, and what you decide is it's not this. It's not more of this. It's now moving away from whatever flavor this was to plant a seed. But I feel like if you were to go with this option, or I guess that option, I feel like you would doubt yourself, and I feel like you would not quite feel like the real deal here with the honor thy worth, the indecision. I feel like that option would allow you to have this soul love, but I feel like you are potentially blinded or not seeing it because I don't feel like you've experienced this. Okay, so I feel like you're still searching, you're still not sure. You're still kind of in this energy of putting something to an end, not quite planting the seed, not fully committed, indecisive. But I feel like the sun in reverse here, this is a need for clarity. This is a need for clarity. And I feel the only clarity you'd be able to have is if you experience this and understanding this is not what you need. And that is more what you need, but I don't think you'll embrace and accept that until you experience this. I hope that made sense. Okay, because I feel like this researching the mystical world, you're going to be still having to learn some sort of experience here in order for you to really appreciate and embrace that option. Honor thy worth. Yeah, I feel like you're potentially either self-sabotaging or self-sacrificing or treating the situation in a way that you're not allowing yourself to have this full stability and enjoy celebration coming together. You're kind of indecisive when it comes to planting that seed for future. And yeah, there's an ending here, okay? So now this ending could be a mindset ending that's painful to put an end to. Because I feel like if you were to choose that, you'd have to come to terms with an ending of this, which I feel is painful. But I feel like if you were to experience this, then you probably wouldn't be as pained knowing that this outcome was, in the long run, something that was shockingly imbalanced and made you have to kind of suffer in a way and wasn't allowing you to be in your true self, where you had to be honest with yourself about what was going to bring you true happiness. Okay. And then I feel like you're kind of facing the truth of the matter, which is, I wish I have that type of an opportunity again, or I will now work towards planting a seed for me to have that type of an opportunity that I missed out on. And now I'm equipped with managing how to get through in order for me to be successful in finding my soul love and what it is that I want, which is more along the lines of that maybe I would have been self-sabotaging or sacrificing or acting in such a way that was delayed contentment and accepting my joy. Okay, I wouldn't be so indecisive here. I'd be more direct. I'd understand that I need to move forward and offer a seed and planting something here for the future. Okay, so let's take a look at the long-term outcome, I guess. If you were to choose this, what can pile number 3 expect if they were to choose this? What can they expect to see here if they were to choose this option? Okay, so we have Queen of Swords in reverse. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. And we also have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, it's same flavor here, but the Knight of Swords in reverse, this is like my bitch card. I feel like you end up putting boundaries with a situation that no longer interests you. You become disinterested and cold to a situation in which you feel like you've self-sabotaged or sacrificed yourself in an area that wasn't bringing you full soul love or emotional fulfillment. This is the Thief card. And it's funny because you end up kind of in the same situation, okay, after experiencing this, you end up almost in the same situation as if you were to go just that right away. And I feel like you need to experience this, okay, for you to recognize what you want to be dedicated and move towards with the Knight of Pentacles. This is someone who's dedicated, focused, and moving towards, but this is the slowest shit Knight, okay? No offense, but slow, very, very slow. But it is forward movement and dedication and moving something forward. So I feel like you move away from this slowly but surely, and I feel like it is very slow, and potentially finding soul love and your ultimate wish fulfillment becomes a journey that takes quite some time. Okay, and I feel like you're still coming in as this novice here, whereas if you're experiencing that, I mean, this is the King of Pentacles, and a king is no longer a page. I feel like you're just not quite seeing clearly, and in a state of indecision. So let's see what the outcome, long-term outcome here, if you were to go with that, because we do see this 10 of Swords. Maybe it's an end of a mindset here, but what would you expect here with choosing that? What could you expect to see as an outcome if you were to choose that option? Thank you, Spirit. Clear and concise for beautiful pile number 3. So we have the 5 of Wands. Okay, 2 more cards, Spirit. We have the 9 of Swords in reverse. Okay, and 1 more card for pile number 3. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Look at the Queen of Swords in reverse here. So what I see here, I see conflict, internal conflict, but I see like an end of anxiety. So I feel like wherever you are feeling conflict and anxiety, I feel like it frees you from this, okay, where you no longer care about the anxiety and the conflict, about figuring out, like with this indecision. I feel like you free yourself from this indecision. Okay. And again, like I said, this Queen of Swords in reverse is like my bitch card. So I feel like you become a little bit more boundaried in what it is you want and don't want when it comes to your own soul love. But I feel like it releases you from all this anxiety that you've been potentially having around the situation. And I feel like you'd be conflicted for sure at first in this decision. But I do feel like wherever there was indecision, I feel like this is the opposite. The Queen of Swords is like somebody who is very direct, potentially very cold, and maybe somebody who makes a decision that's very abrupt. And I feel like you're able to make decisions and honor your worth around an area that maybe you weren't able to see clearly, but now you can identify what your worth is. You're able to make a decision that, you know, allows you to release some of this anxiety. Okay, so very similar. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you want to experience, but I do feel like either way you go, there is a challenge with either option. So hopefully this helped you guys and made sense. Leave a like, leave a comment if you're drawn to another pile. You can visit me there, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.